Morris and Kevin Morris, and the fourth official is Oliver Spender. Great to see Frank Newblay back in the starting lineup, because with all these attacking additions, Ian, sort of slightly worried how much more he would feature.
Yeah, I think he's certainly a player that gives a lot for the shirt when he's on the pitch. Has fallen out of favour a little bit in recent weeks, but you know, Mark Cooper called him the governor last season, and he is a standard bearer at the club, and experience on that pitch as well when you're not using the likes of Michael Smith, and Morgan Williams is missing as well. Always important to have experience on there.
Yeah, Morgan Williams, a slight hamstring issue why he is not figuring this afternoon. He's actually now missed more games this season than he did last season. He started the previous 7, so he had a good run in the side, but he is out for a natural replacement in Finn Cousin-Dawson. The Woking players have just gone in for their huddle. They're wearing yellow shirts, blue shorts and blue socks. Yeovil Town in their traditional green shirts, white shorts and green socks. Woking will get this game underway, attacking from right to left, so Yeovil, preferably for them, will be attacking their own fans in the second half. It's Jamie Andrews stood over the top of the ball. We're just moments away from getting this game underway between Yeovil Town and Woking in the National League on BBC Radio Bristol and Radio Somerset. And away we go as Andrews goes back to Gorman. Well, he did, but we have to go back and restart because Harry Beautyman was too quick off the mark, I think. So take 2 in a moment's time.
A touch of Brazil about Woking this afternoon in their kits, isn't there?
Just a little bit. They certainly didn't play like Brazil at the Laithwaite a few weeks ago. They were woeful in that 2-0 defeat, but change of managers since then. This time we are underway. So it's back to Chickson. One of many players rested in the week, but they still won comprehensively against Radcliffe. They could even afford to miss a penalty in that game. They won 4-0 to progress in the FA Trophy. So it's high, looking for Beautyman, but covered from one who just about manages to shovel it away. Left hand side for Anderson, who's tripped, and Woking win a free kick 30 yards out on the left hand side.
It's in Del Gorman territory. Yeovil fans will know, not the most prolific with his free kicks, but he'll have a shot if the opportunity arises. It's outside the box. Ollie Wright's asking for a couple in the wall. I think it probably will be a cross more than a shot, but it's they're questioning the ball now. Dale Gorman's not happy with the ball.
Now I've had plenty of time to look this over. Well, he's only got 1 goal this season, Dale Gorman. It was a free kick at Tamworth back in October. He's over this. It looks more a crossing opportunity for me. The Yeovil have a 2-man wall 2 yards outside the box, which indicates it's 30 yards out. I think it's going to be laid off for Gorman to cross. He does. Chips it towards the back post, and it's straight into the hands of Ollie Wright. Good confidence booster for Yeovil's number 1.
Yeah, good early hands from Ollie Wright. That ball was not the greatest delivery from Gorman, was only going to find its way out of play, but good to get hands on it for the goalkeeper.
Bernard, the right side, is a poor pass. He tried to play it off Beautyman, I think. Instead, he's just rather tamely put it in a touch for a working throw. 2 minutes in, 0-0. Anderson plays inside to Gorman. Well intercepted though from Jarvis. He then plays it back to Wannell on the edge of his own penalty area. Bernard is still sort of almost hobbling as he just played that ball into touch. He'll be okay to continue. He's had an enforced layoff. He was suspended recently. Picked up a brunt of Yeovil's yellow cards as Wannell goes over the top for Jarvis. Just too far for him. Now picked up by McGuckin, over to Newblay on the right hand side, further wide to Bernard, just inside the Woking half, inside to Cooper. McGuckin again, early touches to the man who's re-signed on loan from Rotherham, over to Sims on the far left for Yeovil, trying to cut inside of Vincent. Yeovil keep on hold of the ball well here. Sims, it's neat play from Mark Cooper's men. McGavin, left hand side, Sims diving in, and McGurk wins the ball. Now it's Jarvis who slipped in the penalty area, and it ball went behind him anyway, and it's cleared by Harries as Andrews brings it down. Well, one back momentarily from Sims, just stayed in play over on the far side. The Woking right as Cooper snapping in the ball, and Gorman's gone down to that challenge, holding his face, and it's a yellow card for Charlie Cooper.
There's a long afternoon for Charlie Cooper now. Not only just ticked over to 3 minutes and he's in the book. Gorman's gone down holding his face. Looked like there was a bit of a coming together. I think Gorman Gorman's made a little bit of that, more than he needed to, I think, but Charlie Cooper on a booking now with majority of the game to go.
And they are replacing the ball, as you mentioned earlier. I mean, if you're going to have money on who would pick up the first booking, I think Charlie Cooper or Del Gorman would have been low odds. Del Gorman is 1 yellow card away from a suspension. He gets one today. I'll take him up to 10 already in the league this season as Sims heads Jaskalainen's free kick into touch. 4 minutes gone, just under 4 minutes. 0-0 between Yeovil Town and Woking in the National League. Me, Mark Stillman and Ian Perkins of Glover's Castle. Crossfield ball is well headed back from Sims, straight to goalkeeper right.
Nice. Mark Cooper's not at pitch side, is it? Chris Todd is taking the team down there. I don't know if that's to do with the sending off at Braintree.
Find out after. I spoke to him pre-match, and normally they're not normally allowed to do that, but I shall find out after the game who I'll be chatting to. Chris Todd. You are right, yep. Main face in the dugout. There's Yeovil on the ball now with McGavin. Manages to find McGuckin just past halfway. And is adjudged to have pushed over Gorman, and Woking win a free kick midway inside their own half. Still 0-0.
Del Gorman is here to frustrate Yeovil Town supporters this afternoon, I think. Barely a touch from McGuckin, and he's straight on the ball, claiming the free kick.
47 appearances and 5 goals in the 2021-22 season. He joined from Barnet then in the summer to Woking. 30th appearance this afternoon for the near ever present. It's played down the right channel from Woking, and Wannell was there first, over the top looking for Jarvis. Head away from Kelly Evans. Now Anderson, quite deep, often plays the number 10. It's crossed to Chickson now, just shy of halfway. Nouble forces him to check inside to Anderson. Now Harries, left-footed, digs it forward. Poorly. Cooper volleys it quite fiercely into the chest of McGuckin. He can't bring it under control. Yeovil sort of getting the grits of the game a little bit more. Bernard heads it forward well, directed to Cooper, now to Nouble. Turns and gives it back to Wannell. Come from left-sided centre-back, more in the middle, midway inside his own half, not really being pressured. Like to try and play the ball out. Defence, he plays it short to McGavin, who scored that wonder goal at the Lathway, the opener, and a 2-0 comfortable win against 10-man of Woking. It's Jarvis, tries to flick it behind him, he does. Now Yeovil could be in on the left-hand side with Sims, wide of the penalty area. He's got McGuckin waiting in the middle with Jarvis. Sims trying to get round Kelly Evans, he can't, it's come back off him, and Vincent is there to cover, to dribble the ball away, and Sims helps it out for a Woking throw. They had a bit of an overload down the left then, Ian.
Yeah, getting forward quickly. Josh Sims has just dropped to the floor there after that little run, asking for the physio. That'll be so disappointing for Sims. He's enjoyed a good run the last couple of games, and even so far today, that little run got forward direct. He's sort of come into his own a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. You're right, it's his third start in a row, but he hasn't played 90 minutes since August 2023, which is the only time in about the last 2.5 years. I mean, Yeovil born, he's here at his hometown club, and the majority of his appearances have been off the bench, and it's annoying for him if this is the end of his afternoon, because I saw him against Eastleigh. I thought he played well. He came off very late. And Forest Green, did he build on that?
He did, yeah. He had a difficult job at Forest Green with McAllister on their right-hand side. So forward-thinking, and so he had to do the defensive side of the game. But likewise, he found space to go forward. With McAllister's attacking tendencies, he was able to find space and make an impact at the top end of the pitch too. So yeah, seems to be enjoying this left wing back position, which very few of us expected him to be appearing in when he signed earlier this season. He's making himself over on the far side at the moment. I'm not sure they're going to take any chances, because Pedro Borges has sort of already got his shirt ready. Yeah, Michael Smith and Matt Worthington are down stretching as well. I mean, you would imagine they would move Nouble to the left, perhaps, and yeah, they've got an array of options, but Sims looks like he could be coming back on for the time being as Woking restart.
McGavin heads it back forward, picked up by Gorman. A bit of Chickson on the left side for Woking. Good touch inside from Beautyman, back to Chickson in the centre circle. Front to Effiong, his first real involvement for the big forward. Long legs, now inside to Gorman. Yeovil want to get Sims back on. He is now allowed to re-enter the fray, but play is ongoing on the left-hand side for Woking with Beautyman wide left, inside to Anderson. Now back to Gorman wearing the captain's armband. Plays it back to Kelly, to Akinola. And well one back from Sims. Takes Vincent out the game and allows McGavin to stride forward. Plays it inside to Cooper, midway inside the Woking half. He just gets there at the second attempt. And plays it further wide to Newblay on the right-hand side. Trying to use some trickery, cuts inside. And sneaks it in behind. That's a great ball for McGurk. Dragged it across goal and wide. He had players waiting in the middle, but that disguised ball from Newblay was excellent. It nearly led to an opener. It remains 0-0.
The angle was getting tighter and tighter, but great possession from Yeovil, and McGurk makes the run forward. It was sort of that position where if he goes across the goal and he's got a runner, can they get something on it? I think it looked more like an effort at goal than across, but good play from Yeovil. They took advantage of the possession and they're finding space in behind that Woking defence.
Elsewhere in other games, not too many of our local teams in action. As Bristol City losing out in the FA Cup at lunchtime. Bristol Rovers playing tomorrow. Taunton have the lead at Gosforth Borough in Southern Premier South as Cooper picks the ball up again. Now Newblay around 15 yards inside the Woking half. Played it back to Bernard on the right. The number 33. Played against his former club on New Year's Day, Forest Green. Got the ball again. Now back to Cousin Dawson, who missed out on a starting berth in Gloucestershire, back in at the expense of Morgan Williams, has a slight hamstring issue. McGavin tries to thread it through to Jarvis. She does well. Now in behind to Sims on the left-hand side. Received from McGurk. Sims tries to chip it up. It comes off Kelly Evans, and Yeovil win their first corner of the afternoon, 0-0.
Great play from McGavin there. He has got Newblay over on the right-hand side, but he goes between the lines, and Jarvis with a neat little touch to McGurk. It's all one touch, it's all tight in those spaces, and good running down the left from Sims again. Doesn't look to be feeling the effects of that earlier knock, and is putting the shift in down there.
Cooper to take this corner. Far side from us, the Yeovil left, so it'll be an in-swinger. Arm in the air. Sit just underneath the crossbar, but easy taken from Will Jaskalainen, who kicks it long and good effect actually over to the Woking right. Had an ironic cheer because he fell to ground, but it nearly worked out to be a good ball for Vincent. But Yeovil win it back well with McGurk. Cooper on the left-hand side.
It's well covered from Josh Sims, wasn't it? That again, doing the defensive work and very composed with the ball, but giving it away now.
Yeah, throw into Woking. Played 11.5 minutes, 0-0. And there's a breaking play. I'll list through all the channels which were available on. That'll take most of the half. This is the 3 o'clock Saturday game. Your local BBC Radio Bristol, Radio Somerset, DAB. On BBC signs. So it's back now to Sims. Now Wannell inside his own penalty area, just to the left. Not really being pressed. So he has time to eye up his options. White reddish boots. I don't think they'll be too muddy at the end. Surface looks quite good. It looks better than it did on the Boxing Day game against Eastleigh. Ground staff do a great job here.
They have, absolutely. I think, yeah, when you consider the conditions this week, they're able to playing that passing game with the ball as well, aren't they?
They certainly are. McGuckin tried to backheel it into the path of Newblay, but it hit his standing leg instead, so it's back in possession are Woking with Kelly Evans. Bypasses Akinola and goes all the way back to Jaskalainen, son of Jussi Jaskalainen, former Bolton goalkeeper, ex-Finland international. Kelly Evans again, one of many who were left out in the week. Got a strong squad under Neil Ardley. They're missing Matt Ward today for the first time since he joined the club. First time he's missed a league game since arriving in August. He was one of their brightest sparks actually at Lateway in what was a pretty flat performance, not helped by Jake Stretton's red card. He's since left the club, returned to Stockport where he was on loan. It's back now with Jaskalainen on the edge of his box. 13 minutes in, 0-0.
patient from Woking now as well, just enjoying the ball, making Yeovil work and press, but finding the space, slowly progressing forward with it.
I mean, they already look better than they did in Surrey only 6 weeks ago under Michael Doyle. Neil Ardley's a good, experienced manager at this level. Ian mentioned before the games, been the likes of Solihull. First job at AFC Wimbledon, where he got them promoted to League One. Now trying to just pull Woking away from the drop. If they win today, they'll pull 8 points clear, because there's only 2 games on in the league this afternoon, as Akinola has to go back to Jääskeläinen. Whereas a Yeovil win will move them within 1 point of the playoffs. Apart from this game, it's only the bottom 2 in action against one another. Boston and Ebbsfleet are already getting rather stranded. Yeovil travel to Ebbsfleet as well on Tuesday. Their game at Boston at the start of February postponed. Boston will be in the FA Trophy. 14 minutes in, 0-0. Yeovil the clearest chance so far through McGurk, played it all the way across goal. There's now Woking in possession with Anderson on the left hand side, almost hugging the touchline. In front of us in the Screwfix community stand. Now helped out from Effiong to Beautyman, in behind his Chickson. Flag stays down wide of the penalty area. Ollie Wright urging his team to push out a little bit. Gorman near the edge of the box. Gorman shoots, it takes a deflection, and it's parried wide for a corner. I think it came off Wano on the way through, but Yeovil were distracted mainly because they thought there was an offside in the build-up, Ian.
Yeah, I'm not sure there was. Certainly the supporters in line with that official thought it was an offside, but switched off a little bit, and Dale Gorman finding space around the edge of the box, not afraid to shoot, and that deflection gave Ollie Wright a bit of a task to do. He was sort of already going down, and he's had to get his hand to it to nick it wide, I think.
Yeah, hard to tell whether it was going in or not. Ollie Wright wasn't going to know, but it came in at an awkward height towards his right post as Gorman now places the ball in the corner quadrant. Near side to us, the Woking left. It'll be an in-swinger. In front of the Thatcher's goal stand, referee Paul Johnson tells him to get a move on. Arm in the air from Gorman. Into the heart of the penalty area, but well taken from Ollie Wright. He had plenty of bodies in his way, and he just commands his area well. 0-0.
Confident keeping again from Wright. The difference in Ollie Wright as the season has progressed is it's clear to see. He's been really grown into this team, and such confidence in those situations that wasn't there at the start of the season.
Nuble wide right, plays it back to Bernard in his own half. Now inside to Cooper, already walking a tightrope, picking up a yellow card inside 3 minutes. 16 minutes gone, 0-0 between Yeovil Town and Woking on BBC Radio Bristol 94.9 FM and Radio Somerset 95.5 FM. Also on 1566 medium wave, BBC Science, BBC Sport website and app. Freeview channels 711 and 714. No excuses if you can't get hold of us this afternoon. It's back to 1-0 now in his own half. Back 3 for Yeovil Town again. Formation they're largely stuck with this season. I mean, gone mainly with a 4 last year. Champions of National League South has run over the top for Jarvis to chase. Akinola does just about enough. He was sort of falling off balance, and Kelly Evans chases back to keep it in play, and now back to Jääskeläinen. 17 minutes in, Ian, it's been a fairly quiet start.
Yeah, it's been pretty even as well, hasn't it? Yeovil certainly enjoyed the Lions' share of possession in the early stages, but Woking have managed to get their foot on the ball here and giving Yeovil a bit of the run around without doing too much with the ball, but they'll be happy to have that possession and not have Yeovil getting those players forward as we saw in the early stages.
Harries plays it across to Akinola. 2 centre-backs for Woking. It's an awkward ball back towards Harries, but he's got time on the edge of his box. McGavin, the closest to him, trying to intercept. Bernard cushions it to Nuble on the right-hand side. Created Yeovil's best opening so far inside to Cooper. Oh, that's a poor challenge from Andrews. Almost scissored him from behind. Credit to Cooper, who's just straight back to his feet and just wants to get on with it. But no talking to for Andrews. Restart, the quick free kick. Wannell's dispossessed in midfield. It was Vincent who tried to play over to the right hand side too. Andrews has gone out for a throw. I mean, from here I thought he lunged in a little bit then.
Yeah, it was forceful. I mean, Charlie Cooper didn't complain too much about it. It was probably the kind of challenge that Charlie Cooper would try and get away with. I think it was okay, but yeah, a little bit of spice there. I think Jamie Andrews, one of Mark Cooper's first signings when he came in here, and eventually Charlie Cooper came, and Jamie Andrews was sent back to West Brom at the time.
Yeah, he made 10 appearances in the relegation season, not long before his professional debut. Said signed from the Baggies back in July. He's man of the match on Tuesday in the 4-0 win over Radcliffe. A couple of goals for Walker. Lewis Walker, who's on the bench this afternoon, and he missed a penalty. Thrown down the right hand side. Effiong gets a flick on, and Cousin Dawson is out of cover, clears it from just inside his own penalty area. Headed loosely to McGavin. Sims wide left for Yeovil in his own half, back to 1-0. Approaching the 19th minute, 0-0 between Yeovil Town and Woking. Ollie Wright over to Bernard, wide of his own penalty area. Dominant shout from the Woking backline. Harries gets it away. Beautyman up to Effiong, back to Beautyman on the left hand side, tries to get Anderson away just wide of the box. 1-0 did well, actually, very composed. He just ushers it behind. Goal kick, 0-0.
There's a lot of movement in this Woking team. There a lot of rotation amongst those players. It was Anderson running in from deep in behind there, and Beautyman sort of been all over the pitch as well, cutting inside. This a fluid approach to this team.
Jermaine Anderson, 249th career appearance this afternoon, same as Matt Worthington's on at the moment. He's on the bench, comes on obviously 250 for him as Gorman picks the ball up in midfield, manages to play it behind to Andrews. Now worked further wide for Woking. There's shot from Vincent, was easily blocked. Back to Gorman though. Woking remain on the front foot. Vincent to Kelly Evans, wide right. Chips the ball towards the 6-yard box, headed away from Bernard. Nouble gets his body in the way and shields it back to Cooper. Dribble it further out wide and hits it long down the channel for McGuckin to give chase. Harry's favourite for it. He's taken a bit of a chance, a couple of touches. Plays it against McGuckin and behind for a throw-in to the hosts.
Good chasing from McGuckin. There was only one thing Charlie Cooper could do with that ball as it broke, really, and it was try and get a bit of territory, and they've managed to get Woking back in that left-back position and allowed Yeovil to push forward.
Woking, their fans in the seated area in Screwfix community stand as McGuckin commits a foul on Chickson. And they've still got 7 flags behind the goal to our right. It's only occupied by a handful of people. Yeovil staff, I think. 0-0. Woking in possession on their right hand side. Back to Akinola. And inside to Harries. Palmer Wells under 21 international. Anderson, well, he played it straight against the chest of Nouble and cried for handball. Never was. Nouble wide right. He's got Bernard making an overlapping run. Nouble shapes the cross. He does towards the back post. McGurk played it cross, and it was a stunning intervention in the end from Kelly Evans behind for a corner, and Nouble again creator in chief.
Yeah, good patience from Frank Nouble there. We're just waiting for Bernard to do the overlap to take away the Woking fullback, and gets a great ball in from Nouble. And like you say, Kelly Evans had to get something on that because McGurk was on that back post with his left foot poised to put the shot in at goal.
Corner for Yeovil, far side from us, there left. Cooper removes a bit of mud from his studs. Referee Paul Johnson waiting on the edge of the box, keeping an eye on any shenanigans as Cooper delivers towards the near post. Headed away though from Kelly Evans, not the best delivery from Cooper. Should be kept in play on the far side from Vincent, which is according to the assistant, but Yeovil win it back temporarily. Cooper now just past halfway, up to McGuckin, tried to touch it in behind to Jarvis. Challenge is really snapping in Beautyman this time, but McGuckin does well to keep his balance. Players slipping a little bit on the surface. As you said, if they had much snow out this way, I live about an hour away, we've had quite a lot, and maybe the pitch is a little bit difficult for players to remain on their feet.
Bit warmer down south, Mark.
Yeah, it certainly was not warm where I am. Pleasant enough journey at least, as Bernard tried to play it to Nouble, doesn't quite get it right, and it's out for a throw into Woking. Do you have that much snow out here?
No, not where I was, just outside of Yeovil. There was a little bit in Yeovil, but nothing worth getting the bobsled out for. It's quite snappy challenges going in from Woking. I'm not sure how, listening to the game at the Laithwaite, there wasn't that sort of spice to it, but they certainly look to be up for a little bit of a fight today.
Well, they picked up a poor disciplinary record this season. They're bottom of the fair play table with Yeovil in 21st, so maybe that explains it a little bit. Plenty of red cards in Woking games, as there was at the Laithwaite. 0-0 here in goals and red cards. 23 and a bit minutes gone between Yeovil Town and Woking at Hewish Park. A fairly cold Hewish Park, not as cold as we were anticipating, as Cooper tries to play it through to Jarvis. Sims on the left hand side, cutting inside to McGuckin near the edge of the box. Quickly charged down though. 3 Woking players around him, but Nuble is picked out on the right hand side well. Keeps the ball in play, running at Chickson. Step overs, wide of the penalty area, near the byline, plays it against the fullback and wins Yeovil's third corner.
Again, well played for Frank Nuble, just waited out on that right hand side, waiting for the ball to come out to him. A nice couple of step overs to try and beat the man, but wins the corner.
I quite like him in this role, actually. He's not the involvement which he has had has all been positive.
Yeah, and I think, it's kind of set up that way, isn't it? When Yeovil haven't got possession, Josh Sims is sort of the left back of the system. Frank Nuble's not having to do as much defensive duties as you'd anticipate.
The referee wants a quick word. A couple of players, Jarvis and Chickson, have been picked out as the guilty culprits. Yeovil, when we do restart, it's a corner this time on their right, so right in front of the travelling faithful. I'm sure they've taken a fair few away, Woking. National League stalwarts, really, since they reached the division in 1992. Not had a good record at Hewish Park of late though, lost 5 of their last 6. As McGavin drills this corner into the 6-yard box, so it's headed away from Effiong, coming back to help his team. Brilliantly brought down from McGurk. He's got away now near the byline with ease. Plays it too close to the goalkeeper, but that was poor from Vincent, who just more or less let him stroll around him. As he's gone down off the ball there, it's McGuckin. I think goalkeeper Jaskalainen was trying to play the ball out quickly and shrugged off the irritant of McGuckin. He's led on his back, but I'm sure he'll be okay. 0-0.
Yeah, great play from McGurk again, wasn't it? Like you said, he just seemed to stroll past the Woking defenders and couldn't do much more than smack it as hard as he could and low along that box. Jaskalainen dealt with it, but a bright moment again for Yeovil.
Elsewhere in the FA Vars, it's Roman Glass St George 0, Andover New Street 0. One of the Bristol sides still in the competition, but Portishead trail at home to AFC Stoneham. They played here last year in the FA Cup, didn't they?
It did. It was Michael Smith's debut was against AFC Stoneham. 7-1, 7-0 potentially.
We've got a bit of a break, so I can very quickly look as McGuckin is back to his feet. 7-1.
Yes.
It was young Wannell, Nuble, Maguire Drew, and a hat-trick for Rhys Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy came off the bench and flat-track bullied his way to a hat-trick.
Against the Wessex Leaguers. 0-0 here. It's approaching the 27th minute. Cooper wins the ball well in midfield ahead of Gorman. Now back to Wannell. Cousin Dawson. Slightly risky pass from Cooper. Cousin Dawson helps it away high. Had to really, under pressure. Well one again from Bernard. Headed back forward towards Bernard. Wins a second aerial battle with ease really. And a beautyman. Now back to Cooper, who stood in right back at the moment with a diagonal crossfield ball. It's a good one towards Jarvis. Heads it back just behind McGurk. Still gets their first screams a handball. Referee was in close quarters. He says no. It allows Woking to press forward with Anderson just past the halfway line in his blue boots. Over to Beautyman, wide left. Former Sutton man inside to Gorman now. Few boos. Contribution in a Yeovil shirt from a couple of years ago. Not too much. There's now Akinola, Gorman, and plays it back to his goalkeeper. I always think if you don't get that many boos, then you almost feel insulted. You think, well, I clearly didn't make that much of an impact at the club.
I think so. Dale Gorman was one of those players at Yeovil that was sort of, I think, probably underappreciated. And then when he left that summer and the following season was Yeovil's relegation season, you noticed what one important part of that team he was, and was missed big time. But he is that player that will not afraid to wind up. Pitch. Nouble and Sims are both forward facing the Woking goal and looking to get into that space, and with players like McGavin and McGurk in this team, you're really able to make the most of them. And yeah, it's good pass down, and again Sims just needs to be a bit more precise on those crosses, and eventually one of them's going to come good.
Jermaine Anderson receiving treatment. He's been here a while actually, just over 3 years, as the Yeovil players take a sip of water. Woking as well, instructions from Neil Ardley. Anderson looks okay to continue. He's a former England under-20 international, holds Jamaican citizenship, was on Arsenal's books as a teenager before he moved around to the likes of Peterborough, Doncaster and Bradford. Signed as a free agent just over 3 years ago. He's not far off 100 appearances for Woking. Chipped in with a couple of goals recently against Altrincham in a 2-1 win at the end of December. Also netted in a 3-3 draw with Hamilton Waterlooville in the FA Trophy, which they were 3-1 up in and eventually progressed on penalties. It's got them a place in the last 16 after the win against Radcliffe as well, where they will travel to Gainsborough. Trinity do well in the FA Cup this year. As we're back underway, Cousin Dawson heads it back forward towards Jarvis, chested down from Cooper. Now McGavin being hassled a little bit from Andrews. 1-1. That's his goalkeeper right, and Woking electing not to press immediately. Cousin Dawson up to Cooper, eyes up what's in front of him, and goes a good ball over the top. Jarvis again heads it back towards McGurk, just gets there first, manages to poke it further wide to Sims. Yeovil left, far side from us, inside to McGavin. Woking with every player behind the ball. They're down to 10 at the moment, well back up to 11 as Anderson's been allowed to rejoin. It's Cousin Dawson inside to McGavin, threads it through to McGuckin. Good sliding interception from Gorman. Now Effiong over on the right hand side now with Vincent, who just manages to keep the ball in play. Inside to Effiong, 35 yards out, plenty of green shirts around him. Played it slightly behind Beautyman, just to backtrack and keep it in play. Now Gorman. Woking enjoying a good spell of possession. Chickson up from the back as well. On promotion with Notts County a couple of years ago. To Chickson again on the left hand side. Harries. Beautyman plays it back to Akinola. I mean, both teams content to knock the ball around here, and you can't complain about that.
No, it's they're very happy on the ball as well, and they know, I think, if they can frustrate and keep hold of the ball, it won't take long for the supporters to ask for more here at Hewish Park, and they're executing their game plan well.
Slight bang of a drum behind the goal to our left hand side, trying to make some noise at Yeovil's first home game of the calendar year. They started their home campaign quite good in 2024. 2-0 win over Bar City, an early goal from Jordan Young, and one in the second half from Frank Nouble, who hasn't scored here since, but he's contributed well so far in this different role. As Yeovil out of possession, drop back into a more 4-4-2 shape. to try and frustrate Woking. I think players have to be able to cope with as well. Sims almost plays now as a left back. Woking on the ball on halfway. It's just kept in play from Kelly Evans. Now up to Effiong, who was having his shirt held a little bit from Cousin Dawson. Tried to play it behind the then back four of Yeovil, but now the host back in possession again.
It's very calm at the back from Yeovil, as you'd expect. There's three so assured on the ball.
Effiong manages to head it inside. Again, Yeovil got plenty of bodies back. Not quite happening in the final third for Woking so far. He might do now though, because Gorman's got it towards Beautyman near the edge of the box. It was Andrews, sorry, and help further wide to Vincent and Kelly Evans. And good footwork from Anderson. He's recovered from that earlier knock. Cross coming in towards Effiong. He manages to bring it under control, but just about loses it, and it's hammered clear. But Woking win the ball back quickly, and that looks like a foul from McGavin. It is on Andrews, midway inside the Yeovil half. Woking free kick, 34.5 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, Yeovil need to ride out this pressure a little bit. There is a bit of noise in certainly on this side, as the urgency isn't quite there for Yeovil right now, and Woking are applying a lot of pressure. Set piece here to deal with for Mark Cooper's team, or Chris Todd's team today, as it appears to be.
Bristol Manor Farm have equalised in their game. Gorman over this free kick, some 40 yards out on the right. Plenty of players in a queue near the edge of the box for Gorman to pick out. Gets it near the penalty spot, headed away from Nuble, further wide of goal. And Jarvis on the right hand side, potentially being obstructed from Andrews, but Jarvis just carried on trying to continue his run. It's back though in possession with the Cards. Kelly Evans, who's had to shunt back into left back for the time being from right, and now Chickson is offered to retake his usual spot. Didn't make the most of that set piece though, really, Woking. No, and when they've got, the size of Effiong, they've got some real units in this team that you've got to make the most of set pieces when you're on your travels. Manor Farm equalised against Bishop's Cleeve. Escaped me earlier. That's on a 3G surface up in Gloucestershire. At the bottom of the table, Boston 0, Ebbsfleet United 1. Ebbsfleet have only got one win to their name against a Boston side with the worst home record in their division. Those two threatening to get cut adrift. Ebbsfleet already on their third manager of the season as it's one over the top, and Bernard, slightly loose header back. Wright gets there first for Beautyman. That was a bit dangerous, I thought, from the Woking 37. Tried to push him, Bernard, into his goalkeeper. They're both back on their feet, 0-0. Yeah, one of those where if Bernard was going the other way, it could have really been a nasty collision there with Ollie Wright. Referee didn't seem to say anything to Beautyman after that one. Noise has picked up here at Hewish Park. That dull thud of a drum has turned into quite a rhythm. Certainly has. Just in the last few minutes, they've found their voices, trying to warm themselves up a little bit as well. That's a foul from McGavin. He might get a yellow card for that in midfield. And he becomes the second Yeovil player in the book. That's pretty much dead on 37 minutes. Yeah, both Yeovil centre midfielders now on that tightrope. McGavin certainly less likely to put himself about than Charlie Cooper. Yeah, that's only his second yellow card of the season, having joined in the summer from Torquay United. Only him and Ollie Wright have figured in every league game this season. Good for Ollie Wright, who had a couple of injuries last year on loan. There's Woking back in possession over on the right hand side with Vincent. Out to Andrews, he's pushed over from 1-0, and Woking certainly winning the free kick statistic. They've got another one right hand side, 35 yards out, 0-0, 38 minutes in. Winning everything at the moment. They're playing it so cleverly, aren't they? A few Jake Wannell there with the hands on the back of Jamie Andrews. Andrews feels the contact and goes down. It's just a little bit of nous, isn't it, that they're finding. And again, another set piece opportunity here. Del Gorman and Andrews both stood over this one, and the big boys come forward. battle between the former Glovers and who's going to take this. Andrews won this argument, just one in the wall. Before that, referee wants a word with Wannell and captain Newblay. Newblay's probably the tallest player waiting on the edge of the box at the moment, although Woking have got plenty of target men to aim for this free kick, which is on their right. Taken now from Andrews, his left foot. Again, it's too close to the goalkeeper, and a simple take really from Ollie Wright, 0-0.
Yeah, another poor delivery really. That one, they get everyone forward, and it's in an area where Ollie Wright can so easily come and claim it under no pressure at all.
McGurk, that's a ball, interesting one, forward to the edge of the box. Jaskalainen doesn't wait for the ball to come inside his area, he half volleys it away. Newblay beats Chickson in the air, which leaves him on the floor, so on his knees at the moment. Back to Jaskalainen, better clearance, he's decked out pretty much all in black with a slight red sash. And sort of leggings on under his shorts as well, not quite the Dimitri Karin jogging bottoms or Gabor Kirai. He wants to stay warm, he hasn't had too much to do. That's right, both goalkeepers have been barely worked as Effiong wins the ball back for his team. Now back to Andrews, Chickson inside to Harries in his own half, centre back Gorman.
It's all a bit safe at the moment, isn't it? No one's quite taking a risk on any of these passes as they come forward.
Really well one back from McGuckin off Anderson. And now he's got Newblay away in space on the right hand side. Jarvis waiting in the middle, McGuckin as well. Newblay, decent ball across, headed away though at the near post from Harries. Newblay's got two Woking players on him, and he's done very well to force a corner.
Yeah, it does well to win the corner. It's that kind of situation where, you know, a couple of minutes earlier, Jamie Andrews feels the hands on the back, goes down, wins a free kick. Newblay there stands his ground while he's got two Woking players holding on to him. If he goes down, can he win that free kick? I know it, end result is it's a corner, but could have gone the other way, and at that point Yeovil are then having to deal with a goal kick.
Corner from McGavin to take, gone short to McGurk. Back to McGavin, manages to get a ball in between two Woking players, but it's cleared from Kelly Evans. Now Bernard, unwisely urged to shoot, I suppose. He wasn't in a shooting position.
Very optimistic.
Cooper chips it back towards the back post. Oh, and it was nearly collected from Cousin Dawson. It was just taken away from him from Effiong. Cousin Dawson scored in the return fixture, couldn't get an effort away, but it's Yeovil's fifth corner, this time on the far side.
Another good ball there from Charlie Cooper this time, and once again sort of last ditch header from the Woking man to knock that one out. Can Cooper get this delivery right?
Yep, they've all gone pretty near post so far, and this one does again. Headed away from Kelly Evans. Follow up, Anderson can't quite fully get it away. Back to the taker, Cooper. I think mishit his pass really, and Kelly Evans leathers it up towards the other end. Sims, very intelligent, sort of lets the ball bounce on top of his head. Under lots of pressure, and predictably wins a free kick right under the nose of Chris Todd as well over on the far side. I mean, he certainly looked like he was being held, and Cooper's keen to get on with it quickly.
Took a little bit of time for that decision to get made by the referee.
Portishead 0, AFC Stoneham 2, so one of the Bristol-based clubs is FA Vars run, looking in peril. Roman Glass still 0-0 against Andover New Street. Many of those ties postponed as well, as McGurk's got it on the far side, the left for Yeovil, outside towards Sims, pokes it there, and he was having his shirt pulled in doing so, and wins a free kick in a more promising position for Yeovil. It's near the corner of the penalty area, their left hand side, and McGavin or Cooper will debate over who's going to loft this one in. 0-0.
Yeah, another incident with Del Gorman at the heart of that one. The little shirt pull, nothing given by the referee other than the free kick, but it's in a good spot here, this one.
Their Woking players stand on that line, having a little bit of an argument with their own goalkeeper on where to be positioned, as McGavin is over the top, two arms in the air. McGavin towards Jarvis, just too high for him, and it's too far in front of Cousin Dawson and behind for a goal kick. Not a bad delivery, but nothing on the end of it.
Thought that was really well flighted from Brett McGavin. Even Aaron Jarvis with that flowing mane couldn't quite get onto that one though. It's a good ball in. And again, I think Yeovil have got the deliveries. Yeovil's deliveries have been a bit more on it than Woking's have this afternoon. Certainly look, they're more likely to find something from a cross or a set piece.
We'll restart with a free kick. 0-0 here. You're listening on BBC Radio Bristol 94.9 FM, Radio Somerset 95.5 FM, among a plethora of many other channels. And BBC signed, and we're on Freeview as well, 711 714, the BBC Sport website and app, as Kelly Evans gets the ball away from near the edge of his own penalty area up to Vincent, a recent arrival, wide right, tries to scurry away from Sims. It comes last off the former Southampton man for a goal kick. Yeah, Frank Vincent's just arrived on loan from Dagenham and Redbridge. He figured here in October. He was substituted in a 1-0 defeat. One of Neil Ardley's new recruits, Innie Effiong, who's just headed the ball on, played in Michael Dora's last game in charge, a 4-0 thumping at Gateshead, and since has had to ply his trade under a new manager in Neil Ardley. As Jaskalainen's got the ball in his hands, got around 30 seconds of the half remaining, 0-0. Fourth officials getting the board ready for added time. I'd estimate 2 to 3 minutes. We had a couple of stoppages. Ball forward from Jaskalainen. It's easy headed away from one. McGuckin can't go after it. He would have been offside. Slight loose control from Nouble. Bustling away from Anderson. He's lost out to Effiong. Tries to win the ball back with desperation. And the referee says nothing doing on. Couldn't tell whether the ball brushed Nouble's arm as he went to ground.
Yeah, looked like he, as he goes down, looked like he tried to perhaps scoop it. And you know, when players think they're winning a foul and they gather the ball up, looked like a half attempt at that. But luckily for Yeovil, that didn't amount to anything, because Frank Nouble was going the wrong way with plenty of yellow around him.
McGurk in space on the left-hand side. 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half. 0-0. McGurk plays it back to Sims near the corner of the penalty area, left-hand side, up to Cooper, back to McGurk. Scored in his other outing at Hewish Park, but Yeovil forced back in the time being from the yellow shirts of Woking, and to Bernard on the right-hand side, midway inside the Woking half, up to Nouble. Now McGavin, back to Nouble. Just simple, short passes from Yeovil, trying to make Woking do the running. Now McGurk wide left, up to Wannell. We played a minute of the 3 added on at the end of the first half, 0-0. Now Cooper. Bernard on the right-hand side. Inside to Cooper again. Now Nouble. Woking have got 9 outfield players behind the ball at the moment, which was with McGavin, 30 yards from goal. Very difficult for Yeovil to find that extra special pass. Might be now from Cooper though, towards the far post. Jarvis heads it! Yeah! And he heads it in! Well, that was a special cross, really. A hanging one for Jarvis. And he loops his header beyond the desperate grasp of Jaskalainen from close range. We're in the second minute of time added on at the end of the first half. Yeovil Town 1, Woking 0.
Oh, great finish to this first half, but Charlie Cooper, I said it was going to come from a cross or a set piece. Charlie Cooper with a brilliant delivery, hangs it up to the back post. But the header from Aaron Jarvis, he has to get that perfect because it's a difficult angle. Nods it up over Jaskalainen, who's at full stretch, and sneaks inside that far post. Great header, great cross, and a great goal for Yeovil Town.
8th goal of the season for Aaron Jarvis, his first since the 3-1 win over Braintree. That's the other team who Yeovil have done the double over thus far in the league. Long way to go, of course, but they have the lead over Woking, having beaten them, of course, 6 weeks ago at the Laithwaite. So Yeovil Town 1, Woking 0. The breakthrough in first half additional time. As Woking restart, there'll be a little bit more added on because of that goal. Now back with Harries, who digs it forward with his left foot to Beautyman. Effiong in his gloves holds the ball up and scoops over to the inside, but well read from McGurk, who wins the ball back for his team. Up towards Jarvis, buoyed by his goal. He's holding his face after Martin Gorman had come across him. The referee has to stop the game because it's a head injury and stops Woking in their tracks. He was in close quarters. I was watching more the ball, and he went down after the ball had been played. Not sure, you spot any misdemeanours, Ian?
No, I was watching the ball. I didn't see it, but referee wasn't going to give any decision just for the head injuries. The only reason this game has stopped. I don't know if he's going to go and have a word with his assistant and get a view on that. But
well, assistant or fourth official, because it's over on that side in front of the dugouts, which why Chris Todd was quite animated. We're just tuning in. Chris Todd, senior face in the dugout this afternoon. Mark Cooper here, but didn't hear anything pre-match whether he is serving that touchline ban. Jarvis is back up to his feet, and presume he'll have to just make way. So we've now crossed 4 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half. 1-0 to Yeovil Town. Goal from Aaron Jarvis in the 3rd minute of additional time at the end of the first half. There's kind of boos ringing around Hewish Park. The ball will be given back to Woking because they were in possession. Boos will grow louder because it's going to go back to Del Gorman, who has every right to just play on as normal. She does, and loops the ball into the penalty area. It's an awkward one. Nuble heads it back towards his own goal, and it goes behind for a corner. Completely misdirected from the skipper, and Woking have one final chance to try and get one back at the break. 1-0 Yeovil.
boos for Del Gorman getting a little bit louder now, Mark, but that was nearly an absolute disaster. Frank Nuble, if he's doing that at the other end of the pitch, you're happy with it, but yeah, towards your own goal, not ideal.
Corner comes in from Gorman towards the near post. Wright is under pressure and surely being fouled. He is. He's gone down holding his head, but he's going to get back to his feet. I would have thought when he takes this free kick, then that will be that for a slightly lengthier first half than we were anticipating, with Yeovil 1-0 up.
Yeah, really came to life, hasn't it, in this stoppage time? They've packed all the action into the last 3 minutes.
Certainly have. 1-0 Yeovil. Aaron Jarvis' goal, if you're just tuning in, separating the two teams. It's the first goal Yeovil have scored in first half stoppage time this season. There you go.
Wow.
I thought we were going in at goalless as well after that Eastleigh game at the end of it, but Aaron Jarvis scores Yeovil's first goal here of 2025, and there goes the half-time whistle. A header, a looping one from Yeovil's number 9 from a terrific cross on Charlie Cooper at the back post. He did well to generate the power and direction over Jääskeläinen, and that separates the teams at the break. There hasn't been too much goal-mouth action. Other than that, it's been pretty tight, pretty well contested, but Yeovil, of course, will be the happier at the break, Ian.
Yeah, a very even first half, really. Both sides having their fair share of possession without really doing a great deal with it, but like I said, the last 3 minutes, that stoppage time, it really came to life. Great ball in from Charlie Cooper, fantastic header from Aaron Jarvis, and sort of had to do it that way. Was the only way that ball was going to go in, with a looping header over Jääskeläinen, and a couple of talking points at the end of that half with Aaron Jarvis' situation off the ball as well. But good first half. Yeovil Town were going very happy and shooting towards the favoured Thatcher's End as well in the second half. Hopefully we're in for some more action.
Yep, so our featured game on Radio Bristol and Radio Somerset, 94.9 FM and 95.5 FM respectively. Here at half-time at Hewish Park, Yeovil Town 1, Woking 0.
You're listening to Saturday Sport on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset. It's 7 minutes to 4 o'clock. We're going to see how the roads are looking on this Saturday afternoon with Toby.
Thank you very much, Richard. Good afternoon. No major issues to tell you about on the major routes, such as the M4, M5 or the M32 this afternoon currently. In Brislington, there is queuing traffic on Brislington Hill going both ways. In Salford, roadworks are causing delays on Bath Road. That's in both directions. In Bath, there is slow-moving traffic on Lower Bristol Road. That's going both ways. In Taunton, queuing traffic on Mary Street. That's heading towards the traffic lights by Sainsbury's. In Yeovil, slow-moving traffic on Sherborne Road. That's by the Yeovil Penmill Railway Station in both directions. In Wincanton, roadworks causing delays on Lawrence Hill. That's going both ways. However, no major issues on public transport this afternoon, but do check before you travel. If you spotted anything we should be mentioning, give us a call if it's safe and legal on 08000 855 949.
Charlie Taylor at breakfast.
It has to be in the physical diary, otherwise it doesn't exist. That's it. If it's on my phone, it's just not real. Diary.
See, now I'd forget to bring my diary everywhere.
Diary
so
lives in the bag.
Okay.
Bag comes everywhere with me.
Yeah.
You take the mickey out of my big bag.
Charlie Taylor.
You do.
It's huge.
You take the mickey out.
It's
you
a
put
big
my
bag.
Duke of Edinburgh bag. It looks like I'm about to go on a 6-week camping trip.
Definitely
There's a portable stove.
You've got everything.
No.
You've even got a refrigerated area of
It's
it.
not
haven't you?
refrigerated. It's insulated. Big difference, Mel. It's not
fridge in it.
It's not fridge.
The kitchen sink.
Charlie Taylor at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Somerset. Saturday Sport.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
So, half-time at Hewish Park, Yeovil 1, Woking 0. Second half coming up with Mark and Ian. In other local games, Bath City Chelmsford was postponed quite late notice due to the frozen conditions. Weston-super-Mare 0, St Albans 0 is a half-time score. And in the Southern League games that have survived the weather, it's Gosport Borough 0, Taunton Town 1. Jack Rice has given Taunton a half-time advantage. And a late goal from Evander Grubb just before half-time means that it's Bishop's Cleeve 1, Bristol Manor Farm 2. Dan Doddingmead had given Bristol Manor Farm the lead. Bishop's Cleeve equalised. Evander Grubb has restored Bristol Manor Farm's lead. So the second half to come on Saturday Sport. The game between Yate and Woolland, one of the many postponements this afternoon. In the FA Cup, it's FA Cup third round day. Bristol City are out of the FA Cup. They lost at home to Wolves by 2-1. We'll try and get you some more half-time reaction before we go back to Yeovil, and we'll hear from the Wolves camp between now and 4 o'clock. Bristol City 1, Wolves 2 was a result. Birmingham have beaten Lincoln City by 2-1. It's Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 1. Andy Vyman scoring for Blackburn, and Liverpool beat Accrington Stanley by 4-0. Just finishing at Leicester, this was a 2 o'clock kickoff. It was Leicester City 6, Queen's Park Rangers 2. So it was 3-2 at half-time. Leicester ran away with it in the second half. Leicester have beaten Queen's Park Rangers by 6-2. I'll give you some detail of the 3 o'clock kickoff shortly. But first, let's just reflect on the game at Ashton Gate. Earlier, we heard from Leah Manning and Scott Twine. It finished Bristol City 1, Wolves 2.
Picked up by João Gomes, looking to click it into a dangerous area, and the header at the far post. Referee's assistant's flag is staying down, and the goal looks like it's going to stand. They're having a long conversation about it, but Ryan Aitnori it was who guided the header inside that far post. It really threaded its way through a lot of both Wolves and City players. Max O'Leary probably rightly asking the question why somebody didn't get something on it. They didn't, and City are behind early. 9 minutes played, City 0, Wolves 1. Chance for Guedes on the edge of the area. He's going to try and clip it infield. It's a slightly heavy touch, but he's got past his man. That's a lovely finish from Rodrigo Gomez. Really quick. It looked like it had been overplayed to him, but he managed to nick it past his man and then quickly get it past Max O'Leary before the goalkeeper got out to him. Really good finish. Wolves frankly dominant at the moment, and it's showing on the scoreline. 20 minutes played, and it's City 0, Wolves 2. All down to Scott Twine. Can he get City back into this? Right-footed over the wall, into the back of the net. Absolute perfection from Twine. Johnson dove to his left-hand side, couldn't get near it. Over the top of the wall, into the back of this tie. And City have got themselves a lifeline in added time. It's City 1, Wolves 2.
Well, let's hear the views of the visiting boss, Vitor Pereira, talk to our colleagues at BBC Radio WM after the match.
About the performance, the first half, very good first half, in my opinion. The last 5 minutes of the first half, we concede some opportunities for them to we give them confidence. You understand? In the throw-ins, our throw-ins. It means that we lost 1 or 2 balls, and they score in the end of the first half. I think in the first half we had a chance to score more goals. And with 3-0 maybe we closed the game, but we went to the half time. They went with confidence and we went with doubts. You understand? Some doubts because to close this game we needed to score the third goal. Second half we had 2 chances to score the third goal, but they have quality and they start to believe, and we didn't have the quality, in my opinion, to keep the ball with us. And in the game of transition, it's difficult to control the game. And in the moment that we should keep the ball. No, we lost the ball, some balls, and the transition. And they have good team, and is cup. You understand? It's a fight, and we work it, we fight it, we suffer together, defending together, compact, and this is football. It's not easy.
And last thing, quickly, I know you were looking forward to being involved in the Premier League. You were excited about that. Now you've been in the FA Cup, and your fans enjoyed it. The FA Cup is good fun too.
Fantastic. Because we come in a Premiership club, and it's like we are in Premier League. You understand? And even the pace of the game is the same. It's the same. It's a physical game, technical game. They have very good players. They score in set pieces in a fantastic kick. This is football. Yeah. England football.
Vitor Pereira talking after Wolves 2-1 victory at Ashton Gate. It finished Bristol City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Let's look at the 3 o'clock kickoffs then, and we'll start our half-time roundup at Bournemouth. They're playing West Ham, Adam Pope.
Bournemouth 3, Albion 1, but no strikers, no problem for Anthony Iraola. His side started really slowly, but have finished well on top in this tie. Albion took the lead through Caleb Taylor after Grady Diangana hit the crossbar, but then Bournemouth replied. Dango Ouattara forcing a good save from Joe Wildsmith, with Justin Kluivert tapping into the roof of the net at the back post of the leveller. Kluivert then turned provider, slotting Ouattara through on the left, with the Burkina Faso winger slotting into the bottom corner. The third came on the counter. David Brooks tearing down the middle of the pitch. Bournemouth swarming the Albion defence. He had so many options, but he fed Ouattara in on the right to make it 3, and that's where we are at the break. It's Bournemouth 3, West Brom 1.
Aaron Paul reporting there. It's Brentford 0, Plymouth Argyle 0, and Chelsea leading Morecambe by 1-0. Morecambe saved an early Chelsea penalty, but Chelsea scoring 6 minutes before half-time. So it's Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0 at Stamford Bridge. Exeter are playing Oxford this afternoon. Watching this one is Paul Scott.
As the League One side Exeter lead the Championship side Oxford by 2-1 at half-time. Exeter on course to reach the 4th round for potentially the first time since 1981. It was actually the Championship side who made the brighter of the starts here, taking the lead after a swift counter-attack. Matt Phillips with the finish. But 2 goals from Dimitri Mitchell have put the League One side ahead at the break. Exeter 2, Oxford 1.
Next to Carrow Road, it's Norwich trailing Brighton, Chris Cole.
It's a scoreline reflecting the dominance Brighton have enjoyed, leading Norwich by 2-0. All the ball, decent chances created. In fact, George Long in the Norwich goal, limiting the damage. He has been beaten twice, both times by Jorginho Ruta, a header from a Veltman cross, and just before half-time, his shot from an angle deflected on its way in. Norwich's brightest moment saw them hit the post at 0-0. Amankwa Forson from the edge of the box, bending effort, flush off the post, but their attacking threat has been fleeting at best. It's been a good half for the Premier League side. Norwich 0, Brighton 2.
Lee Blakeman's watching Nottingham Forest against Luton.
Forest 1, Luton 0. Ryan Yates' header 5 minutes before half-time is what separates the two teams. Yates had gone close just before that, hitting the bar with a perler from 25 yards. Jota Silva has had chances too. Just the one chance for Luton, Isaiah Jones on his debut, beating 4 before being denied by Forest keeper Carlos Miguel. Half-time, Forest 1, Luton 0.
It's goalless, Reading against Burnley, Becky Ives.
I feel like this has got extra time and pens written all over it, but Burnley, they have been on top of the first half, but with nothing to show for it. Lara Foster had the best chance, shot from close range, which Reading keeper David Button got both hands to keep out. Other efforts from Luca Cogliosho, Joe Barres and Tommy McDermott, they've all gone high, wide, left, right, anywhere but the goal. Reading, they've had a couple of chances from set pieces, but to be honest, they haven't kept the ball for any real significant period of time to be able to create it. But I don't know, this just doesn't feel like Burnley's day, and Reading are hanging on. So at half-time, Reading 0, Burnley 0.
It's an all-championship clash. Sunderland against Stoke. Andy Sixsmith.
Sunderland 0, Stoke 1. Only goal of a flat first half coming early on. Tom Cannon smashing home a penalty after Luke O'Nien chopped down Lewis Kumas in the area. Sunderland have made 5 changes. They got better as the first half progressed, I'll be honest. Sheesh and Luke O'Nien himself coming close, with Chris Rigg increasingly influential. But let's talk FA Cup magic, chappers. Here's some for you. Sunderland only opened 2 stands at the Stadium of Light, and there's only 13,000 here. Ouch. 0-1.
And we can get some detail on that Chelsea-Morecambe game with John Southall.
Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0. And up to the 40th minute, Morecambe had frustrated Chelsea. Harry Burgoyne brilliantly saved Christian Nkunku's penalty, smuggled behind the rebound, also denied João Felix. He's been really impressive, the Morecambe keeper. Then the goal, touch of fortune, toss in Adebayo, allowed space 20 yards out. His shot took a big deflection, keeper was wrong-footed, and in it went. One chance for Morecambe early on. Ben Tollett's shot was fumbled by Jorgensen and claimed at the second attempt. But Morecambe still in this. Chelsea 1, Morecambe 0.
Just one game in League 1 this afternoon and it's finished. Rotherham 3, Bolton 1. In League 2, Walsall beat Tranmere by 5-1. A latest score, the game's been impacted by fog. They are currently playing at Swindon 0, Crewe 0. While in the National League, it's Boston 1, Ebbsfleet 1 and Yeovil 1, Woking 0. Let's get detail on that result. The 2 o'clock kickoff, Leicester QPR, Charlie Slater.
Just the 8 of them. We've got about 30 seconds or so of the 4 additional minutes remaining. It's Leicester 6, QPR 2. The latest, a screamer from Wout Faes, centre half, runs onto it 25 yards out and with his right foot picks out the far corner of the net. It's a beauty. It wraps up a wonderful afternoon for Ruud van Nistelrooy and Leicester City. He needed this. They'd lost 5 in a row in the Premier League. He went strong with his team. 2 goals for James Justin, 1 for Mavididi, 1 for Buonanotte, Jamie Vardy, and then that one from Faes cancelled out 2 first half QPR goals from Varane and Coley. It's all meant that he can rest a few of his first team players against a huge game here against Crystal Palace on Wednesday in the Premier League. There's the full-time whistle. Leicester City 5, QPR 2. 6. Excuse me. I was never good at counting.
Saturday Sport.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
Half-time at Hewish Park and it's advantage Yeovil.
Very difficult for Yeovil to find that extra special pass. Might be Nathan Cooper though towards the far post. Jarvis heads it! Yeah! And he heads it in! Well, that was a special cross really, a hanging one for Jarvis. And he loops his header beyond the desperate grasp of Jääskeläinen from close range. We're in the 2nd minute of time added on at the end of the first half. Yeovil Town 1, Woking 0.
Let's go live to Hewish Park and bring you the second half on Saturday Sport with Ian Perkins from Glover's Cast and Mark Stillman.
Yes, welcome back to Hewish Park. The 2 teams are back out here for the second half where Yeovil have the advantage, scoring late on in the first half through a hanging header from Aaron Jarvis, the top scorer doing the business again in Yeovil's first home game of 2025. But aside from that, Ian, not too much in it. I thought both teams pretty well matched.
Yeah, very even first half. I think Yeovil looked more likely from those crosses and those set pieces, and that was what clinched the first half of this game. But you've got a couple of players in that midfield on a tightrope in Charlie Cooper and Brett McGavin, and Dale Gorman looking to cause all sorts of trouble for Woking. So yeah, one to keep an eye on in the second half for sure.
Yeovil getting ready to start this second half as well. Now attacking their own fans who have been in fine voice this afternoon. The noise really picked up around midway through the half, even though there wasn't too much going on for either team really, not too much goal-mouth action. And obviously their cheers were ever louder at Aaron Jarvis's opener. So referee Paul Johnson checking his watch, and we're back underway with Yeovil attacking from right to left now as McGavin plays it back to Cooper. The 2 players on a yellow card, as Ian just mentioned. McGurk back to Bernard. Now Cousin Dawson, 30 yards or so from his own goal. He and McGavin on target in the previous meeting just 6 weeks ago. Then Michael Doyle's Woking. Their record here is wretched. They have lost 5 of their last 6 here, including an FA Trophy defeat. Run started with a 4-0 win for Yeovil on the relayed Hewish Park surface. And the pitch present day, that was back in 2002, has held up pretty well thus far for both teams, allowing them to play the ball on the ground, as they are now with Anderson of Woking. Over to Chickson, although I say that bobbles up a little bit for him on the left-hand side. Down to Anderson, who looked offside, and he is. And Yeovil restart with a free kick. Yeah, going back to that 4-0 win, I think it was on the telly actually, which is quite a novel for Yeovil at the time. Is that in your era of supporting the Glovers, Ian?
Absolutely was. I remember going down to Dorchester and watching Yeovil play there, back on grass then. It was in Dorchester, and before coming back home here and enjoying quite the season.
Yep, went on to win the league that year.
More than 100 goals, plenty of points.
Plenty of attacking intent. of course. Howard Forrington was one of them on target that evening, I should say. It was a Tuesday night game. Andrews now in possession for Woking, who won it on their previous visit back in 2023. Less said about that, the better for Yeovil as the relegation campaign. Kyron Lofthouse, the only goal.
Darren Sarr in the dugout that day.
Yeah, been a few managed both. Colin Liffiott managing both teams. Jeff Chappell, who led Woking up to this level, which they've been at largely since the early 90s. They're in possession now with Beautyman, back to Gorman, midway inside the Yeovil half, played 2 minutes in the second half. Hanging ball towards Effiong, heads inside to Beautyman. Beautyman can't find space for a shot. He's laid it back, and it was Anderson. And they worked it quite well in a very congested area, did Woking. Not far off the penalty spot, Anderson, but he's mishit it really, sort of hit it into the ground, wide, goal kick. But Woking's best opening, I'd say, so far this contest.
Yeah, there's a good chance. There's a lot of green and white shirts in that 18-yard box and working hard to make it difficult. But again, a ball in from Del Gorman and a nice knockdown, and Yeovil having to be alert with that shot just inside the penalty area.
Helped away from Akinola, who was fouled from Jarvis in doing so. There's Effiong involved. He's just rejoined for his third spell. He's been here, there and everywhere really. Looks at Ross County, then as far down as Dover. Re-signed from Braintree in December. Pretty much around the time that Braintree visited here. Actually, his debut for Woking was on the day that Braintree lost 3-1 at Hewish Park, as McGurk went down under a challenge from Harries, who then helps the ball away towards halfway, headed back forward from Bernard. 1-0 Yeovil, if you're just tuning in. Jarvis in first half added time. Effiong plays it back into midfield, now with Akinola. Made his 50th league appearance for the club in the home game against Yeovil, the Nigerian. Now Gorman again, inside to Andrews. Across to Anderson, now further wide to Chickson, wide left, trying to get the other side of Newbley. He does, gets the ball into a good area, but straight into the hands of Ollie Wright. Remains 1-0 Yeovil.
Yeah, good play from Chickson. Got past Newbley and delivers a ball in, but not a lot of options in there for Woking, and more catching practice for Ollie Wright.
This one of just 2 games in the National League this afternoon. The other one is between the bottom 2. Last time I checked it was Boston 1, Ebbsfleet 1. As one was under a bit of pressure deep in his own half, turns and gives it back to Wright near his own byline. It treads on the ball and scurries it away up to McGurk. Now Sims Yeovil deep in their own half of the field at the moment until Wannell belts it clear towards Jarvis, who's nearly having the shirt ripped off his back. I think that's another one which has almost been torn to bits. Poor Kitman must have his work cut out with Aaron Jarvis, because defenders grapple with him so much. And another one, he's indicating to the referee. Yeah, he has. His collar's been ripped.
Yeah, let's get the sewing machine out at full time.
McGurk plays it across to Bernard. Just approaching halfway. Cooper just taps it back to Bernard, inside to McGavin. Scored that exquisite goal at the Laithwaite. The best goal I've commentated on so far this season. The one this afternoon was a good header from Jarvis. As behind Newbley would be offside, but Jarvis won't be if he can keep it in play. Oh, it's a willing effort. Nearly gets there, nearly collides with the photographer as well. It's behind for a goal kick, but Newbley did well to acknowledge he was off, and nearly paid off.
Yeah, that ball, it was touch and go, wasn't it? It wasn't carrying as quick as you might have thought. Good effort from Aaron Jarvis. Risk and reward. Could have found something on the end of that had he made it, and put Yeovil in a good position.
Portishead 3-0 down against AFC Stoneham, and Roman Glass 0-0 against Andover New Street. Weston-super-Mare still 0-0 with St Albans in the National League South, and struggling a little bit Weston, looking to pick up against a team in the bottom 4 as Chickson wide left, the ball sort of hits his back and goes behind for a Yeovil throw. Still 1-0 Yeovil. Played 6 minutes of this second half on BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, and also on BBC Signs, BBC Sport website and app, and Freeview. Bernard is told to get on with taking this throw-in. He throws it slightly riskily inside to Newbley. Far side from us to the right. Tries to play it against Anderson, and Well, Chris Todd is adamant that it's a Yeovil throw. It's gone Woking's way. It's their defence now back in possession with Akinola. Now to Gorman. Threads it forward to Beautyman. And tried to play it to Vincent. Couldn't bring it under control. And it's back to Ollie Wright. Again, not the cleanest connection on his clearance. He manages to get a good distance on it this time, where McGurk, surrounded by 3 Woking players, loses out. Anderson plays it against Bernard and then goes to Grind. Referee's right next to it and says nothing doing as Yeovil win the ball back with Nublé wearing the captain's armband this afternoon on the right. McGavin, brilliant one too between he and Cooper. Now they've got Nublé nearly away down the right hand side, but very calmly dealt with by Harries, former Bristol Rovers player, as Cooper's hauled down right under the referee's nose and wins a free kick in midfield, and he's appealing that there should be more punishment for Beautyman.
I mean, when you look at Charlie Cooper got booked in the 3rd minute in this first incident with anyone on the pitch, and for me that one is a pull of the shirt, the back of Charlie Cooper, and you've got to question some of those decisions. That one was fairly clearly a yellow card, I would say, based on what I saw on New Year's Day at Forest Green as well.
Yeah, referee Paul Johnson did Yeovil's 0-0 at Sutton a couple of months ago, and Woking's 2-2 draw with Brighton in the National League Cup, one of few National League sides who entered it. They've had some very high scoring games in that. A couple of penalty shootouts.
More goals than supporters at those games, I think.
Wouldn't be far off. So McGurk's gone down under pressure from Gorman, who does well to win possession back for his team. Now Anderson near the edge of his own box. McGavin dives in and wins the ball well. Had to, he's on a yellow. Now up towards halfway where Cousin Dawson beats Effiong. So he's spread across towards Vincent. Yeovil onto the loose balls better at the moment with McGuckin. Spotted the overlapping run of Nublé. McGurk waiting in the middle and Jarvis far post. Nublé trying to get the ball back into his path, and he's gone to Grind right in between referee and assistant, and it's a free kick and it's going to be a yellow card just wide of the penalty area. I think it's Beautyman who they were appealing he should have got caution a minute ago, so presume he was on his last warning because he's gone into the book. Woking's first yellow.
Good little bit of play from Frank Nublé. Thought he'd lost it, the ball got stuck under his foot and he lost control, but managed to regain it, and in only the way Frank Nublé can, fashion himself a chance and a free kick.
It's only Beautyman's
line, isn't it, this one?
Only Beautyman's second yellow of the season. Former Sutton and England C international. Not really a wall for Woking, just Vincent who's in the box. Yeah, a yard wide of the penalty area. It's floated in towards Nublé, well headed away from the visiting defence. Now back with Sims, around 35 yards out. Woking got every player behind the ball at the moment. Almost a 6 on the edge of their penalty area, but none of them have picked up McGurk, who skips inside of Anderson, leaving 2 players on the floor. McGurk chips it towards the back post. It's importantly headed away. He did so well then, McGurk, to engineer a bit of room and delicately lofted it into the penalty area. And they've won the ball back off Andrews. Nublé, definite shirt pull in the background. Nublé is trying to bustle his way through, and he's penalised for running into Kelly Evans, but excellent work from McGurk. Nearly made it 2, Ian.
Yeah, great footwork. He's shown this so far in his 2 games already before this one, but the footwork is so brilliant. And just when you think he's done one turn too many, finds another turn and gets the ball in, and it was that great cross flighted into the back post. Wasn't quite anticipated by his teammates, but good play.
Well left from Vincent to Kelly Evans, midway inside the Yeovil half on the right hand side, hugging the right touchline, inside to Gorman. He's signalling that there needs to be a substitution. It's ball in, and Wonnell gets a touch on it to put it behind. Yeah, Kelly Evans immediately needs help. He missed the trophy game in a week, but he's been pretty much a regular for Woking. Joined a year ago from Banbury. The physio has to make a very long run across from one side to the other. I'm guessing it's a muscular injury, because you're going to pick things up like that in these cold conditions. Dan Rowe has had to skip around 70 yards across, and they're already getting a substitution ready, so I would have thought Dion Kelly Evans's afternoon is going to be up.
sort of all-action fullback, isn't he, Kelly Evans? He does that defensive work, but he's also on the overlap and trying to get into those forward spaces.
Yeah, he's 28 now. He was Michael Doyle's first signing, the previous Woking manager. He left Coventry earlier in his career as Morgan Williams joined. Morgan Williams missing out this afternoon. You're just tuning in through injury. While he's receiving treatment, I'll quickly go through the Yeovil lineup. It's right in goal, a back three of Bernard, Cousin Dawson and Wannell. Then a four of Newblade, Cooper, McGavin and Sims, with McGuckin and McGurk playing behind Jarvis. Jarvis's header separating the teams. He scored in first half additional time. That brings you bang up to date on BBC Radio Bristol and Radio Somerset, as Woking are looking to make their change. And it's one they wouldn't have wanted to make, really, but you have the 5 substitutions now, which you can make at different interventions. So maybe hoping it doesn't hamper them too much. They've got a few choices who they can bring on. I think it's going to be Ben Winter, who's not figured much in the league recently. He played in the week in the FA Trophy, but it's a right back for a right back, so they'll be hoping it doesn't disrupt them too much. It's in the 58th minute. First change of the afternoon for the Cards.
Meanwhile, we've got a corner to defend here. Dale Gorman's over in that far corner in front of the Woking supporters, lining this one up. Be hoping to get those deliveries a bit more precise than they were in the first half. Some usual shenanigans around the goalkeeper, Charlie Cooper involved and protecting Ollie Wright.
Ben Winter's first outing for some 2 months in the league, signed from Barnet 18 months ago, former teammate of Liam Davis, an ex-Yeovil man. So corner for Woking on their right, near side to us. Gorman over the top of it, in front of his own fans, right-footed towards the back post. Towards Effiong. Cousin Dawson went down off the ball, and Jarvis back to just volley the ball out for a Woking thrower in 18 yards in the byline. Again, something happened off the ball. It was Cousin Dawson who would have been, you'd have thought, a focal point in the penalty area, but he was led grinded. He's back up now.
A yellow card coming somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's for Cousin Dawson. Yeah.
Not sure what's happened there. Maybe he's had a word after whatever happened off the ball. He said something and the referees booked him for that.
Third Yeovil player in the book this season. They've surpassed 50 bookings in the league this term now. Woking just the one in the book. But Yeovil, a goal to the good from Jarvis, who's dispossessed unfairly from Gorman and wins a free kick in his own half. It's getting a bit bitty now, this game. A lot of stoppages, probably suit Yeovil more. King down with his free kick quickly. Floated from McGavin to Sims. Now back to McGurk. Shapes up a cross over to the right-hand side. Jarvis manages to get a flick on. Newblade wide of the penalty on the right-hand side. Back to Bernard. Loopy sort of cross. Goalkeeper's favourite for it, and he manages to gather.
Yeah, I think at some point Woking are going to have to pick up the urgency a little bit and try and find an equaliser, because right now it's, like you said, it's bitty, but there's not really that sort of determination, it doesn't seem like, for them to come and get on level terms. Yeovil will be happy with this game breaking up a bit.
Sims catches man, Beautyman, I think, and it's going to be another Yeovil yellow card.
See, I thought he got the ball there. To me, I know it's right down in front of us, but he puts the foot in, the ball stops, and he's got it on his toe. And, you can't say Josh Sims has been putting himself around this afternoon throwing in the tackles for that to be a yellow card.
I'm with you, yeah, even if he didn't get the ball, I thought it was a legitimate attempt. If he caught him, it's pretty marginal, but it's a free kick to Woking, 15 yards inside the Yeovil half, right hand side. Gorman over the top of it. Josh Sims is his first yellow for Yeovil, and the referee's not happy with the free kick and tells Woking to have another go.
Gorman took it before he blew his whistle. That really did change the impact, change the effect of the game, didn't it?
No, it's gone forward rather than sideways this time. We've just passed the hour mark, 1-0 Yeovil. Back inside to Andrews. Now Akinola, the deepest outfield player for Woking, just passed halfway to Winter in his first involvements. Gorman ball forward. It's easy volleyed away from Wannell and then helped up from McGuckin, but Jarvis, much to his annoyance, has overhit it. And it was just a loose touch. And it's now back to Jääskeläinen.
Yeah, tried to help it on round Akinola, didn't he, and chase on to his own touch, but yeah, too much purchase on it.
Woking looking to make another change. I think again a couple of players ready. Mix it up a bit at the moment. Their unbeaten start under Neil Ardley in jeopardy. 1-3, drew 1 in all competitions, having won 1 in the league in their previous 14 before he took over. Now Winter on the right hand side. A low ball, and it's easily met from Wannell. See what he was trying to do. Because had the centre back not been there, then it's a proper corridor of uncertainty. But Yeovil playing themselves back into trouble, and Wannell elects to see it behind. Bit of overplaying in their own penalty area, but in the end it's worked out to be a goal kick, Ian.
Yeah, it was well pressed by Woking. Wannell could have sort of lumped it forward and cleared his lines, but not necessarily the most instinctive thing for this team to do. And as it was, what goes out for a goal kick, but a bit of a heart in mouth moment there with Charlie Cooper being charged down by about 2 or 3 players.
Still Boston 1, Ebbsfleet 1. If results stay as they are, then Yeovil will be just a point off the playoffs if Rochdale not in action today. They occupy the 7th spot at the moment. Woking back in possession though. Beautyman. He's about to Harry's left-sided centre-back, Gorman. Now, Akinola advancing forward a little bit, couldn't thread it in behind. That's a needless foul from Vincent, and free kick to Yeovil in their own half. Remains 1-0 to the Glovers.
Well, one from McGurk, felt the contact and goes down, but Yeovil are getting a little bit deeper as this second half wears on. Woking certainly pushing further forward, and not a lot of action up in the Thatcher's end of the stadium for the last few minutes.
Wonder whether they'll be tempted to make a change. Yeovil simply 4 players on a yellow card as bypass Everett. Now Jarvis near the edge of the box. Goalkeeper anticipates it well and gets it away to McGavin. Now Bernard on the right hand side. Woking looking to make 2 changes. Newbley on the right for Yeovil. Bernard overlapping run. He's got the other eye. He's pulled back from Anderson. He should have just seen the ball behind. Rather petulant foul. Free kick to Yeovil, just wide of the penalty area. They sped the play up a couple of times. It nearly paid off. Remains 1-0.
Yeah, Aaron Jarvis just a yard away from getting to that one before Jääskeläinen. I thought that was the chance for the second. Again, it's just free kicks in these awkward positions, right on the line of the 18-yard box. And it's almost like the corner of the 18-yard box and the touchline there. So it's going to have to be a interesting sort of delivery from McGavin.
Yeah, if you're talking in hockey territory, it's a penalty corner. He's gone low, like a penalty corner, to Cooper. And Newbley managed to get a shot away. Cooper mishit his shot. Newbley under significant pressure can only help it into the hands of Jääskeläinen.
Just dribbled along that one. That was an absolute hockey play by the Yeovil team there, but not as cleanly struck as you'd want from Charlie Cooper.
Beautyman, clever little touch in midfield to Anderson, trying to move into space. 1-0 Yeovil if you're just tuning in on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset. Feature game 3 o'clock this afternoon as Gorman's got the ball pretty much on halfway and spreads it over to the left hand side to Harry's. Now Chickson, who's got forward more in this second half, the Zimbabwe international. A couple of caps for them. Now with Harry's again. Woking content to knock the ball around in midfield. They're still waiting to make these couple of changes. I think Vincent's number is up, one of them. Lewis Walker again ready to come on. Vincent on the ball now in his gloves and Under Armour under his yellow shirt. Comes last off McGurk for a throw in to Woking, around 18 yards on the byline on their right. And as Ollie Wright goes down, have a little bit of a stretch. Woking will make their change.
Yeah, I wonder if it looks like it could be Matt Worthington enter in as well. I wonder if Frank Newbley's race is run on that right hand side. Certainly that couple of moments ago there was a big chunk of space for Woking, and Nublet out of position.
Aidan O'Brien has come on as well for his debut for Jermaine Anderson for Woking. He's just signed from Shelbourne over in Ireland in a very short spell there. This is his first return to non-league since the 2013-14 season when he was on loan at Aldershot, as Ollie Wright carries on receiving treatment. I mean, they've still got a couple out Woking. Dan Moss, the former Yeovil player, he's missing, and Timmy Odesinya, both last played against Southend a couple of months ago, and Max Deitch, son of Sean, has been recalled by Northampton, but they've still got so many options. A good strong bench, and a number 9 in Aidan O'Brien, the 31-year-old former Republic of Ireland international, has now joined the attack alongside Effiong. Whether they'll go more 4-3-3 as Woking take this throw in short, trying to catch Yeovil unawares. Back to Gorman midway through the second half, 1-0 Yeovil. Aaron Jarvis is going, first half additional time. Akinola now to Gorman, spins and plays it forward to Beautyman. Akinola back across to Harries, two centre backs exchanging passes while Yeovil have every player in their own half. Gorman, boos from the Screwfix community stand pick up a little bit as Cooper's under pressure, and I think he wanted McGurk to peel off into space, failed to do so he's knocked in the touch. Woking knocking on the door a little bit. Gorman lofts it over the top well. Flag stays down. Walker drills it across goal, and it's come last off Cousin Dawson for a corner.
Gorman getting a lot of space in these areas. We know he's good on the ball and he'll find passes and pick pockets. Yeah, we'll need to be a little bit tighter to him, I think, because he's sort of got freedom around the 18-yard box to pick his pass.
Gorman to take this corner on the Woking right, in front of the travelling support, which will get an attendance soon, I'm sure. And headed away well from Nublet at the near post. The follow-up one was met in the air from Andrews. Poked forward towards Beautyman near the edge of the box, can't make room. Gorman has time to cross, he does, into a good area, but headed away from Wannell from near the penalty spot. And follow-up one from Jarvis. Again, Yeovil penned back every player within 20 yards of their own goal at the moment. Woking dictating this passage of play. It's floated in well again from Gorman, a flying header away from Bernard, only to Beautyman, and it's deflected over for a corner. That looked goal-bound to me, but Wannell stuck his head in the way.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much straight at Ollie Wright, but another good passage of play from Woking, and Beautyman had so much space on the edge of the box there. Yeovil needs some added energy. Matt Worthington is on the side of the pitch waiting to come on, but just feels like Yeovil are getting deeper and deeper and deeper at the moment, and they're not really getting out of their own half.
Top scorer, joint top scorer, Harry Beautyman. Got more league goals. Lewis Walker scored almost all his in the cup, including 2 on Tuesday. Corner, far side from us, the Woking left. Gorman's take. Whips it in and came last off the head of Effiong, who got his direction on it all wrong. He's put it harmlessly wide. It's one of those, if he just glanced at it, it would have caused Ollie Wright more difficulty. But it goes wide, and Yeovil making their first change. I'm sure you would have heard Ian Welsh announcing Frank Nublet is the man coming off, and Michael Smith is the man coming on 71 minutes.
I thought Worthington was warming up there.
Could have had a guard of honour if it was Matt Worthington. If he does make an appearance, he said it would be his 250th in Yeovil colours should he come on. It's a position where I wouldn't say they've had difficulty with, particularly Yeovil, with that sort of right side since the likes of Sam Pearson have gone. Nublet's filled in there today, and I think he's played well. They've also had Matt Worthington occupying it. It's about the only thing really they need to work on, perhaps.
Yeah, I think this left side, with Whittle out, the left side Mark Cooper said about getting sorted, but I think Sims has done nothing wrong the last 3 games he's been in. But yeah, like you say, it's a bit awkward, that right side.
Yeovil just can't really get the ball at their own half at the moment, and McGavin tries to do so and is fouled by Beautyman. Keeps the ball within his feet to slow the game down. In the final 19 minutes, the attendance is announced.
213 travelling away back.
3188 and 213 from Woking. Yeovil took a lot to the Lathway a few weeks ago on that open terrace. Volley back forward. Smith's first involvement, loses out in the air, picked up from Andrews, who going to grind, hooks the ball forward and out for a throw in. Boston have taken the lead against Ebbsfleet United. Ebbsfleet, going into this game, played 25 and won 1. They're threatening to get stranded at the bottom of the table and return to the National League South after a couple of years back in the National League. They're turning into a bit of a yo-yo outfit at the moment. Elsewhere, Taunton still lead at Gosport Borough. Roman Glass 0-0 with Andover New Street in the FA Vase. Cooper wins the ball in midfield. Good ball over the top. McGurk's brought it down. He's got Sims on the left hand side. McGurk direct, running inside the penalty area. Cole! Oh, it's just clipped the outside of the post. The Yeovil players are adamant that there was a touch on the way through. It's gone behind, and nearly a little bit of magic from McGurk. Goal kick.
Again, that fancy footwork from McGurk just on the edge of the box. Josh Sims runs on his left to distract the Woking fullback, and he tucks inside and couldn't have got much more bend on that. Nicked the outside of the post, but great effort again from McGurk. He's been so good in those little areas, making opportunities.
He scored at that end on his debut. Could have made it 2 from 2 at Hewish Park, but Yeovil still lead by that goal to 0. Aaron Jarvis's header, first half added time. Ball forward now for Walker, brings it down well. Sims is trying to keep track. Walker's cut inside now, can he get a shot away? He does, he scored. It might have touched somebody on the way through actually, but Woking are level. It's Yeovil Town 1, Woking 1 on 74 minutes.
Well, it's been coming, hasn't it? The pressure and the momentum has been with Woking. It's O'Brien who's been credited with a goal, the substitute. Yeovil have been deep, getting deeper and deeper and deeper, but for that McGurk opportunity a moment ago, Woking have certainly put the pressure on, and it's told.
It came in so quickly. I mean, it must have been the slightest of touches from O'Brien, because it didn't make the ball significantly deviate, but Wright's vision would have been slightly hampered. And what a debut for Aidan O'Brien. He's been on the field for 7 minutes, perhaps didn't know too much about it. Will he care? No.
Just leathered it as hard as he could, that one, into the bottom corner. Wright stood no chance really. It all, like I said, it all happened so quickly. There was no sort of change of path. He just sort of run into the path of the ball and hit it as hard as he could.
Yeah, it was Walker. I mean, Walker was going for goal, and it was O'Brien who, I mean, the view I've got is he sort of, like you said, came across it. Maybe it was more deliberate when we thought. We only get one look at it, but either way, Ollie Wright beaten all ends up, and we're back at 1-1. And you have to say, it had been coming a little bit. Woking had been knocking on the door more without creating too many clear openings. Well, they're back here at 1-1. Not won away in the league since August. Their sole victory was at Ebbsfleet United. So a throw-in on halfway for Yeovil, and Don Bernard takes a few instructions from Chris Todd.
Yeah, you haven't really got the attacking game going really in this second half. There's a couple of chances, but it's not really been free-flowing from Mark Cooper's team.
So waiting to take this throw. Cooper, he's back to McGurk with that chance a moment before Woking level. McGurk halted in his tracks. The referee thinks fairly. Beautyman picks up on the left hand side. It's gone behind for a throw in to the host, Michael Smith. The intervention. Elsewhere, it's still Western 0, St Albans 0 in the National League South. And a few games taking place. This one of 2 in the National League this afternoon. Tonight becoming a bitterly cold afternoon. Gosport just levelled against Taunton down in Hampshire. Gorman in possession for Woking. We're in the final 15 minutes now on BBC Radio Bristol and Radio Somerset. Cooper wins the ball away from Beautyman and stabs it back to cousin Dawson. Now McGurk plays it around towards McGuckin, who referee says no. If he was caught by Harries would have been in trouble. McGuckin's got back to his feet, and it's played forward. I'll get Ian's views in a moment, because Woking are back in possession with Walker, who's left it for O'Brien and behind for a throw. Your view on that, Ian?
You have to ask questions there. I think there's definitely a pull of the shirt. McGuckin's done here, I think. I think he's hurt his hamstring. He's hobbling back. Now, he did drop to the floor, but that won't stop the game unless it's a head injury.
Yeah, he's definitely picked up some sort of muscular problem.
Whether it's cramp, I'm not sure. He's struggling, but yeah, ball over the top. McGuckin looks to have the running on the Woking back line. Maybe he didn't, and that's why he's gone down and is now feeling something. But yeah, difficult one for me. There's a fair bit of distance between McGuckin and the goal. It's not like it's a clear goal scoring opportunity. There's a bit of work to do, but he is the last man and in on.
You can't say Woking aren't being adventurous at the moment. They effectively had a front four, I should say, with Chickson very high up, with the fullbacks up as Yeovil won a free kick for an offside. Winter had advanced so far. They left their centre backs pretty isolated. Almost went to a 4-2-4 times of training out. They played a 4-4-2 against Radcliffe the other day, switching from their often used 4-2-3-1, which they started this afternoon, but changed a little bit. It's more a front three now, with Effiong supported by Walker and O'Brien, the two substitutes combining for Woking's leveller. 78 minutes in, 1-1.
That change of shape has totally stopped Yeovil playing through as well.
Sims trying to get onto a bouncing ball inside the penalty area. He's beaten to it from Akinolo, just about manages to get it away, and Jarvis helps it back to Kupu. Courageously nods it before O'Brien. McGavin over the right hand side with McGurk. He's got two players waiting in the middle. And, well, I'm not sure there was a cross or shot. Whatever it was, it's straight into the hands of Jaskalainen, who takes it with ease. Remains 1-1.
Yeah, Yeovil just haven't been able to play through like they normally would. Cooper and McGavin haven't really seen a lot of the ball or been able to get the ball through to the attack. It's been a lot of sort of over the top for the strikers to chase onto in this second half. And
another free kick, cousin Dawson, who's on a yellow, far on halfway. I mean, we expected a few yellows and reds between these teams, because in matches involving Yeovil or Weymouth, or Woking I should say, this season have involved 18 red cards, one of them in the previous fixture. At the moment, no reds, 1-1 goals. Akinola's got it in his own half. At the moment, it will be back-to-back draws for Yeovil Town at home, but they're looking to get back to winning ways. There's good charging down from Jarvis, puts it out for a throw-in on this near side to Woking. And a patchy run for Yeovil, no wins in the last three in the league, starting with that defeat at Hartlepool, but they're still well placed in the table following their return. National League South, building on the momentum against the Woking side, revelling under Neil Ardley. Could be back-to-back away draws for them. I'm drawn two Aldershot on Boxing Day, local rivals, as Wright plays it out to Cooper, and 30 yards from his own goal. Asking a bit of McGurk, who tried to control it with his back. Fails to do so now. It's played forward to Effiong near the edge of the box. Effiong, those long legs over the top of the ball. Effiong's shot is blocked from 1-1 and behind for a corner.
Getting close for handball in that situation as well before that, as the ball goes through to McGurk. Certainly on that side over the Tamburino stand side, and Chris Todd calling out for it as well, but referee doesn't make that decision. And again, Yeovil defending from corners, and it's that man Dale Gorman again who has been pulling the strings in this second half.
Going to take this corner again in front of his own fans. Two hands in the air in front of those flags as well, with of St George with Woking's name adorned across the middle. Waiting to put this ball into the mixer, which he does. Far post this time. Headed back forward, and is squeezed off the line in the end. Yeovil still can't get it away. Smith with a telling touch, and Bernard, the follow-up one, and it's behind. No, it's stayed in play on the left-hand side, and McGurk committed a foul. I mean, I was a bit panicky then because Smith almost lost his footing on the line. It nearly led to a second for the Cards.
Not sure how that one hasn't gone in. It seemed to just dribble across the line, and like I said, Michael Smith lost his footing, didn't really make any proper clear contact to clear that ball. But Woking looking the more likely to nick this afternoon now.
They've got a free kick on their left. Looks like Andrews this time over the top of it, complaining the wall's not back far enough. And you're not looking to their bench at the moment to make another change in the final 8 minutes. 1-1 here at Hewish Park. Cross should be Ollie Wright's. It is pretty unchallenged, manages to take it, and I think they're feeling that there was a foul off the ball on McGurk.
Yeah, there's definitely a shirt pull of the arm on McGurk as Ollie Wright clears that ball. Referee looking the other way.
Master of the dark arts clearly Woking, behind the referee's back, has flicked on towards McGurk, couldn't quite play at the other side of Harry's. Sims nips in, and it's come last off the Yeovil player, and it's going to be a throw in to Woking in their own half. As said, not looked to his bench, Chris Todd has. He's going to bring on Jacob Maddox for his debut, on for Sean McGurk. This is in the 83rd minute.
Number 11, Jacob Maddox.
Signed from Forest Green Rovers on an 18-month deal. He's a Bristolian. Also played for the likes of Walsall. He's also played out in Portugal. It's not quite reached the heavy heights of 20 degrees, what you might be experiencing out there in warmer times, as it's run through to Ollie Wright in the Yeovil goal.
Yeah, I think that's been a bit of a... I think that's turned into a bit of a change of shape for Yeovil. Bernard is out on this left-hand side now, and looks to be more of a back four, more of a 4-4-2, I think. Maddox over on the right, Josh Sims on this left side still, but Bernard has definitely gone into left back. And McGuckin and Jarvis leading the line.
And Jamie Andrews, who came closest to putting Woking ahead a few minutes ago, former Yeovil player. His only goal this season has been in the National League Cup. He's on the ball now in midfield, being pursued a little bit from McGavin. Now Chickson down the Woking left. Smith gets there first. One back well from Maddox. Got very bright yellow stroke green boots. Now McGavin in the Woking half, approaching the final 5 minutes. Flicked over to the right side to Smith. He manages to keep control, and he's won a corner despite his previous stumble. And time for Yeovil to put some players in the mixer.
Yeah, Bob Smith done well there to recover that. Trod on the ball and lost his footing, but still has the time and the wherewithal to get that one in charge down.
So corner far side. McGavin's going to take. Floats it towards Cousin Dawson, headed away partially from Effiong towards the edge of the box. Touch back to Cooper. Couldn't find a way forward. He was being hustled from Gorman. So tell by the groans that Yeovil have had to work their way backwards to goalkeeper Ollie Wright. Remains 1-1 on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset, BBC Signs and Freeview. Me, Mark Stillman and Ian Perkins talking me through this one, which is reaching its conclusion.
It's well closed down by Woking. You can hear the supporters in front of us, but Charlie Cooper's one-on-one with Del Gorman. If he loses it in that position rather than knock it back to Don Bernard, he's in big trouble. And likewise for Don Bernard, if he loses it, he's in big trouble. So you know, there's still a point here and 2 points on the table left.
McGavin, Maddox over to right hand side. Now Sims, who propped up on the right wing for the time being, played it against Chickson, who then in turn plays it against Sims. Nothing he can do really about it. It's behind for a goal kick. I have to say about Woking, I mean, they're miles better than they were in that game a couple of months ago. Mark Cooper said about new manager Bounce, they're much better organised. Yeovil had quite a few chances. It took a extraordinary finish from Brett McGavin to put them ahead, and then a far post, slightly difficult angle from Finn Cousin-Dawson. But Yeovil always had the upper hand throughout. Kofi Shaw played very well. I recall he's out through suspension this afternoon. He'll be back from the next game on Tuesday at Ebbsfleet and for the remainder of the season. But I'll get your point when the ball goes out in a moment, Ian, whether Yeovil should still be doing better as a push in midfield from Cousin-Dawson. Is it Woking being good, or have Yeovil been slightly off it this afternoon?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think in the first half was fairly even, but Yeovil just got so deep in this second half, and it's, is that down to the Yeovil team, or is that just down to how well Woking have played in this second half? They've certainly had the possession and just the territory as well. It's been all Woking, and Dale Gorman and Jamie Andrews in the midfield have really kept things ticking over, and at half time you're full of optimism into their second half, and they've played a very good game in their second half to keep Yeovil Pen back.
Gorman chips his free kick near the edge of the box, where it's headed away from Wannell and helped from Maddox. Chickson as well to play it back to Gorman in his own half. Knocks it over the top towards Winter, where Sims jumps with him and gets enough of the touch on the ball. Well, it took a couple of ricochets. It's gone behind for a Woking throw around 20 yards in a byline on their right, in front of their 213 supporters who'd rose to their feet at a debut goal off the bench from Aidan O'Brien 7 minutes after being introduced. What a start for him. He helped in Walker's shot from the edge of the boxes. Woking fans not returning the ball, I think.
I think it's gone down. It's gone down the tunnel out to the exit.
I'll get done for slander there. It was not their fault whatsoever. A Yeovil throw. Apologies to any Woking fans listening in, has come last off Jarvis and behind for a throw-in to Woking. The Cards 10 yards inside the Yeovil half, which Winter takes quickly to Gorman. Now back to Harries. Board's getting ready, but I think that's just going to indicate time added on. Not sure whether Yeovil will look to their bench again. They got an attacking option in Harvey Greenslade, who's just back from what turned out to be a pretty unproductive loan spell at Western-super-Mare, where he missed the odd game through illness. As through on the left-hand side towards O'Brien, helped away from Smith. Woking in possession again with Andrews. Now inside to Walker. Effiong. O'Brien tried to turn away, make room for himself. Cooper went down, the ball was played forward, so it's back in Woking possession. Chickson on the left-hand side. Turning back infield. It's helped over the top from Harries. Good jump from Cousin-Dawson to win the ball, and then Old School leathered away towards halfway. Is there time for Yeovil to manufacture one more opening, perhaps? 1-1 at the moment.
Got to get hold of the ball before they can do that, I think. Mark, it's just Woking just controlling this possession. Yeovil can't get near them.
Now on the left-hand side with Walker. He was robbed. Yeah, they just can't keep hold of the ball at all. 5 minutes will be added on at the end of the second half. Minimum of 5 minutes. Effiong near the edge of the box. Effiong's got inside of Wannell and covering from Sims of all people to put it behind for a throw-in.
This afternoon's match sponsor, Wells
So we're going to have the player of the match announced now.
Number 19, Josh Sims.
Josh Sims. Perhaps more some of his defensive work as well, because he helped his team out there. And that's a good confidence booster for him as well.
Yeah, I can't see anyone sort of sticks out this afternoon. There's no one who you think they've really grabbed this game and made it their own.
Throwing to Woking, a couple of yards on the byline on the right. Winter to Gorman, back to Winter. Now back to Gorman again, in behind. Winter plays it across, and important interception from Cousin-Dawson, who got it away. The away side asking way more questions at the moment. 1-1 in added time. Headed back forward towards Effiong, and it's worked its way back into the grateful mitts Ollie Wright. Again, O'Brien was in. Well, he hasn't had too many touches of the ball, O'Brien, since he's come on, but they all seem to be pretty key.
Yeah, he's sort of come on and made an impact in this game, hasn't he? I'm not sure the change of shape that Yeovil have gone with has particularly worked. It's disrupted, weren't particularly free-flowing before, but this has not really made any real difference to the performance levels since Bernard's come to full back.
See if it works now, though. Bernard to Sims. Sims wants help. He played it into the middle, which was risky, and it was easily picked up from the Woking front line. They couldn't quite get it through to O'Brien. Left hand side, Cousin Dawson. Maddox wearing number 11. In midfield now with Cooper. Woking suddenly having to get players behind the ball. 1-1, 2 minutes played of 5 additional time between Yeovil Town and Woking. Bernard is forced to play the safe ball backwards. Yeovil looking to make another change. McGavin over the right hand side to Michael Smith. Has he got room to make a cross? It's cut inside. Back to McGavin. Smith again. Got cover from O'Brien to try and stop the cross. And Maddox wide of the penalty area. McGavin. Can hear some cries from the supporters that get it in the box. At the moment, Yeovil sort of skirting around the outside of it. They can't get a ball in. Maddox, edge of the box. 2.5 minutes of added time played. 1-1 up to Jarvis. Back to Maddox. Good possession though from Yeovil. They're keeping hold of the ball. In fact, the longest ball they have in the second half. Sims almost treads on it. But it's collected well from Bernard. Inside to Cousin Dawson. It's about 20 or so uninterrupted passes from Mark Cooper's men, but they haven't made any inroads on the Woking goal. Cooper, who provided the goal, has just given the ball away, and then it's rather loosely put into touch for a Yeovil throw, and they're going to make a change as well.
Most of the ball Yeovil have had in this second half, I think, keeping it very nicely. It's McGuckin making way for Harvey Greenslade, but second half for the finish of the first, the second half has been so disappointing from Yeovil. They didn't really make the most of that advantage and carry on the momentum into the second.
Roman Glass St George have the lead in the FA Vars. They try and reach the last 16. Nickel Plummer there, 1-1 here. Now back to McGavin, midway inside the Woking half. Being held a little bit from Gorman. Can't escape him, the referee wags his fingers. 1-1 now. Yeovil asking more questions in added time. Cross to McGavin near the edge of the box. They know what he can do. Can he make room for a shot? McGavin, he tries to thread it through instead. Maddox, he's gone down on the edge of the box. The referee says no. Well, if it wasn't a foul, then the referee should stop the game and say that it's simulation. He's done neither. It's played forward to Effiong. Brave header away though from Cousin Dawson. 1-1, 40 seconds remaining. 5 minutes additional time on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset. Me, Mark Stillman and Ian Perkins. Bernard, Sims, left-hand side. Yeovil scored late in the first half. Can they score late in the second? Sims skipping the other side of Winter. Inside the penalty area, he's gone on the ground. The referee points and gives a goal kick. And the Woking players congratulate each other for their defensive work. And that might be that.
Yeah, I think so. Too little, too late for Yeovil in this second half, really. Only the last 2 or 3 minutes that they've tried to turn the screw and make something happen. There's, questions about the referee from the supporters here, but I don't think Yeovil have got anyone to blame but themselves here this afternoon.
I thought if there was contact, it might have been outside the box anyway. I think it's more the one earlier, which they're frustrated with, which wasn't given, as Jaskalainen takes this goal kick. We play on. Flick towards Effiong. Important header away from Cousin Dawson. And the referee blows for full time here at Hewish Park. It's finished. Yeovil Town 1, Woking 1. Yeovil start 2025 here as they ended 2024 here, a share of the spoils. The opening goal, the only goal scored for them, was by Aaron Jarvis in first half. Additional time across from Charlie Cooper, and a well-flighted cross and a well-directed header as well back across goal. Woking continue to knock on the door. They made a couple of changes in attack and it really spooked Yeovil more than anything, and they were rewarded on 74 minutes when Walker's shot was deflected in by Aidan O'Brien 7 minutes after coming on for his debut, the former Republic of Ireland international, but Woking level, and it's no less than they deserved. Yeovil knocked on the door more in added time. They felt that some of the decisions didn't go their way, a couple of contentious ones. It wasn't to be their afternoon really, and Ian, in truth, had they snatched it, I think it would have been rather unjust. It finishes here, Yeovil 1, Woking 1. Quickly, Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think this second half performance from Woking, they controlled the game. They had most of the ball. Yeovil didn't really get out of their half until the late stages. Disappointing, I think, given the first half and the going in 1-0 up at half time. Not capitalising on that and allowing Woking back into the game, and come the end, I think a point could be seen as quite lucky the way Woking controlled that second half.
So here at Hewish Park on BBC Radio Bristol 94.9 FM and BBC Radio Somerset 95.5 FM, it finishes Yeovil Town 1, Woking 1.
Saturday Sport.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
You're listening to Saturday Sport on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset. Headlines today. Bristol City are out of the FA Cup. They've lost 2-1 at home to Premier League side Wolves. Wolves 2-0 up after 20 minutes. Scott Twine pulled a goal back just before half-time, but it wasn't to be for Liam Manning's side.
Picked up by João Gomes, looking to click it into a dangerous area, and the header at the far post. Referee's assistance flag is staying down, and the goal looks like it's going to stand. And City are behind early. 9 minutes played. City 0, Wolves 1. Chance for Guedes on the edge of the area. He's going to try and clip it infield. It's slightly heavy touch, but he's got past his man. That's a lovely finish from Rodrigo Gomez. 20 minutes played, and it's City 0, Wolves 2. All down to Scott Twine. Can he get City back into this? Right-footed over the wall, into the back of the net. Absolute perfection from Twine. It's City 1, Wolves 2. It's Twine towards the far post. It's a header off the goal from one of the defenders, off the underside of the bar, and ricocheted away to safety. And Hirakawa has to play it all the way back to Max O'Leary, but that would have been an own goal.
We'll round up the rest of the FA Cup action shortly. There have been some shocks. Premier League Brentford are out, beaten by bottom of the table Championship side Plymouth Argyle. But amongst those through to the fourth round are Liverpool and Chelsea. Details to come. In the National League, Yeovil have been held to a 1-1 draw by Woking. Aaron Jarvis gave Yeovil the lead. Aidan O'Brien equalised for Woking in the second half.
Very difficult for Yeovil to find that extra special pass. Might be Nathan Cooper though towards the far post. Jarvis heads it! Yeah! And he heads it in! Well, that was a special cross really, a hanging one for Jarvis. And he loops his header beyond the desperate grasp of Jaskalainen from close range. We're in the second minute of time added on at the end of the first half. Yeovil Town 1, Woking 0. Well, Sims is trying to keep track. Walker's cut inside now. Can he get a shot away? He does! He scored! It might have touched somebody on the way through actually. But Woking are level.